Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Best Show Ever podcast, the podcast where I interview folks about the best concerts they've ever seen in their lives. I'm your host, Cam Herdt, and another special week for you, and another cool week of buddies. The two episodes that are out right now are real life friends. These people know each other and hang out in real life. They're both New Yorkers. They're both big Phish fans. And the episode that you're listening to right now is with none other than Sarah Elaz. Um, Incredible bassist, incredible New Yorker, incredible Phish fan. Sarah and I talk all about her experiences seeing Phish. We talk all about playing music in New York with her many projects that she works on musically. That's actually going to be one of my first shout outs of the intro here is her band Boojum Band. If you are in New York or if you're around when you see her posting about this stuff, we're going to plug all of her socials, but um, check out Boojum Band. They are a band that she is in right now that is really doing some cool stuff. From the clips that I've gotten to see, I haven't been to New York to see them, but they do a very theatrical presentation. They've got skits that they're doing on stage. They're improvising things. There's a lot of it's like a night long experience. They're not just playing songs and covers and stuff. It's a very cool presentation. So check that out if that's something that you're into. She's also in a bunch of cool cover bands. She covers Phish in her Phish cover band. She covers Talking Heads in her Talking Heads cover band. I've seen her do Grateful Dead stuff. She's playing music a lot. So if you're interested in seeing Sarah play some bass in a number of different bands, you've got opportunities to do that. Another shout out I want to give on the intro here is to Meg Gliona. Meg is part of the Osiris media family. She is someone who I interviewed in my first season. She's the first person who interviewed me on a podcast about Phish for Osiris. Had me on the Helping Friendly podcast last year, right after the Berkeley Greek theater run with Phish. And she's the best. And she's got a cool segment out right now that is within the podcast space, but thank God it's not hour long stuff. She's got a moment with Meg, and her first interview is with Cal Kehoe. And it's at a reprise show, which is again another Phish cover band, a new one that's been popping up. And yeah, she chats with Cal a little bit. It's brief, it's relaxed, it's well done, it's really well shot and well recorded. And she is a professional. She's really good at this, at interviewing people, podcasting, talking about Phish, making it fun, making it seem like a conversation. Um, and she's great at that. And so check that out. A Moment with Meg. Follow the Megan Dance on Twitter and Instagram for more info on that. Follow Osiris Media, of course, for more info on that. Um, that's just about enough intro out of me. Let's get into this conversation that I have with Sarah from Boojum Band. And here's a little bit of music first from Loom called What I Mean. Are you're in New York? Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn. Been here for like 7 years or something like that. Um,
Is it so snowy right now?
it is so snowy right now. It's kind of beautiful. This is like the first time the snow has stuck. So I'm down to play in the snow. You're in LA, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How's
Yeah.
LA?
It's good. It was like 40 degrees last week, so it was really tough. On a lot of people. It was really it was really hard on a lot of people. People get so bundled up when it's like 50 degrees out here, and I hate to be the guy like, you think this is cold, but
Yeah.
um,
Where are
I
you
am that
originally from?
guy. Wisconsin.
Okay, so you know the cold,
Wisconsin, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
right?
yeah.
Like you're not soft. Like my sister's lived in LA for it's like 15 years now. Yeah, she's soft. She's
I've become I've become soft.
good.
Like
Good.
I'm my skin's getting thinner by the day. So
Good, 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 good. I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
yeah, well, that's your journey, man.
Yeah, give me like one more year. I'll be like guy who never wears shoes,
Yeah.
guy who like sometimes wears a shirt. Yeah, like yeah, I'll be like drinking a lot of matchas.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Sick, sick. Well, thanks for wanting to come on and do the show. You know, I think that we were actually not far from each other at a show in Berkeley, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is like the only Phish account I follow on TikTok is Sarah. I see you were. I'm like, that's the only person I know who does a Phish TikTok.
Oh my god, I think, like, I know that you've taken over the TikTok sphere, but I actually do think I was the first person posting Phish content on there.
Yeah,
Um, it started so funny. It started during the pandemic. I'm friends with John Rua, who's a choreographer. He choreographed, the Clones dance, he choreographed the Turtle in the Clouds dance, he choreographed Wombat, if you know it. And we were
cool.
talking one day, and as a joke, he was like, "You should make like a Phish TikTok account where you like dance to Phish songs." And of course, like that's what it started as, and then it just turned into me posting videos of myself dancing at Phish shows and people yelling at me for being a rail rider. But I feel like I was like when I first started posting Phish content on there, I was the only one. Uh,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
it was like super early into TikTok. And yeah, and it's kind of funny. Like I do a lot, but I feel like I get recognized the most from Fish Talk. But I put
Yeah.
like no work into it anymore. Like it's just like I just forget about it. And it's just really funny. And now like people like you and other people are like blowing it up and really making it a scene. And I love that and I appreciate that. And it's like it's cool. But yeah, I just like I'm not gonna post dancing videos on there. I don't know. The original idea got lost in translation.
Yeah, I mean, but it's so fun. Like that hit a part of my brain when I saw that video. I'm like, oh man, there's people who are my age who are doing Fish content that is like fun and like not a meme, and
Yeah.
it's not mean to people. It's just like here's a couple moves you can pull at at the Fish show. It's like it was great. It was so great. And
Funny.
you know, I before I might have posted like one or two videos. It was at like the Greek in Berkeley. I was doing the like thing that now people do to me. I was like, that's the Fish TikTok, like pointing up. I'm not
It's
gonna say
funny,
anything. I don't
right?
want to freak them out, but
No, do
it was
people come up to you? Do people say stuff to you?
yeah,
That's
yeah, they
cool.
do. It
That's
is
cool.
cool, and people are always really nice and really kind,
Nice.
and um, it's same thing. Like I didn't think about that as part of the deal when I posted the Fish videos. I was like, this
Yeah.
is a funny thing that I and maybe four of my friends think is funny. So I'll put it on TikTok and it doesn't matter what happens with it. So yeah, same thing. Like super cool that people like took it and ran with it and
Yeah.
all
That's
that stuff. But I was not planning on like talking to people about them at the show. But I do, it is cool. I do
It's
like it.
cool. It's fun. And yeah, and the community is really cool. Like I've been seeing Fish and in the scene since 2010. And I think when I
Yeah.
first started seeing like I didn't have people my age. Then again, I was way younger, right? Like but it is really cool that our generation is taking over the scene, and then of course with bands like Goose and kind of all the next generation, like we are kind of coming into our own, and we are the leaders of the pack right now in a cute way. So it's really cool.
It's super fun. And like
Yeah,
going to Goose, I feel like it happens even more. Like all those guys are on Instagram. You go to a Goose show, everybody in the building is on
it is on
TikTok.
social media, right? Ooh.
But like at Fish, it's like there's some dudes who are like, I've never even touched social media. I just go
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah. I gotta say, the Fish
I don't
people
know.
are on Facebook. Like I
They
definitely was
do.
very active on Facebook just because like all the Fish groups and the call out groups, like all that stuff is really fascinating to me and really funny.
Yeah. When the New Year's run was going on, which I assume we are more than likely going to talk about. But the I
Well,
have a
if
feeling
there's
it'll
any
come up, but
analyst.
Um, I should just call the second season "Game Hen Show Ever."
Yeah,
I shouldn't even call
the
it.
show ever.
Um, but yeah, like when that started, um, you know, I'm like on. on Twitter looking for streams and stuff, and everyone's like, "You're not on Phish Facebook?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, I haven't been on Facebook in a while," but that's where the community is.
It's
It's
real.
it's on
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all about Facebook. I'm all about the groups. I make all my little Facebook events. Like I'm on Facebook a lot, which is really surprising. But you got to reach the peeps somehow, you know?
You gotta reach the peeps. That's the title of the episode. You gotta
Yeah,
reach the peeps.
that's like, I actually really like that. Think about
Speaking
that.
of reaching the yeah, oh yeah, make the t-shirts. Reach the
Yeah.
peeps. Um, speaking of reaching the peeps, we brought up the TikTok thing first, but now I know you as an excellent bassist through reaching the peeps. Now I've seen your actual work, you know.
My day job, not even my day job, but I know. Yeah, that's been crazy. Bass is sick. I love playing music. I mean, reaching the peeps in that way is just best. Like I've been having I just love music.
Yeah, yeah, and you perform
It's
live so often, which is the best. Like,
Yeah, you're catching me in the middle of like an artistic, I don't even want to call it a crisis, but like as an artist, you go through waves of really wanting something and really feeling good about it and feeling bad about it. And am I good enough? Imposter syndrome. So you're catching me at a I don't even want to call it a low right now, a very emotional place in my bass playing where I just like I want it so bad and I love it and I feel really excited about the projects and the scene and everything that's happening, where it's just like really overwhelming and loud and
yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's cool to have shows to play. It's cool to have projects that you're excited on. But yeah, you don't get to pick your spots on the highs and lows. Like you don't get to pick
Yeah.
when you're feeling a little dipped down. I feel the same way right now.
As an artist, right? You get it. You get that wave.
Yeah, and it's that thing of like it's the new year and last year was really exciting. So now this year has to be quadruple exciting because now I know the formula of what I'd like to do, but it's not easy to get yourself to like feel inspired or you're just like you said, you want it so bad.
You want it
It's
so bad, and yeah,
yeah.
it consumes you. Yeah, I'm feeling very consumed by music and bass right now, which is beautiful and super special, and especially in this scene, like in the jam band scene, and especially as a woman, it's just like it's a lot right now. But it's
Yeah.
all really good things, and it's really special. And we can wait till the end to plug all my plugs
Oh yeah.
and
You can plug them now
advertise
too.
all my shows. Like we were just coming off. There's an amazing blues bar really close to MSG called Stitch, and they let me program the entire run, so pre and post shows. And it was just so much. I played 3 of them. I didn't want to play all 6 because I thought that'd be annoying, but maybe next year. And yeah, coming off that high of getting to play for my friends with my friends with so many different musicians that really inspire me, like the Dogs in a Pile guys sat in
Oh man.
with me for a couple songs. Seep, of course, my Phish cover band's crushing. Like, just so cool. Music is the best.
Yeah, and organizing music and like reaching out to people and getting them involved too. Like I love doing comedy. I love being on stage
Right.
myself, but I love producing a show. I love
Me
asking
too.
people like, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this thing I'm doing?" and get people excited about your event and
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's
my
fun.
day job's in music too. I'm like a tour promoter as my day job. So all day I book shows, and then all night I play shows, and then I go see shows and shows, music. You know, it's
Th-
consuming.
So so appropriate podcast. We'll
Yeah,
we'll have you on the right.
yeah,
Talking about shows.
yeah. Shows, sick. All day, every day, is just shows.
Well, we will get into your sickest shows, your best shows ever, and we'll talk about some of those. But before we get into that, do you remember like the first show you ever saw, first concert in your
Yeah,
life?
of course. So the first arena show was Britney Spears with
Oh,
from O Town. Do you remember O Town?
yeah.
I actually re-met them recently. They played at a venue I was working at, and they're still going. They're still doing their lip syncing. Uh, Hilarious. So yeah, Britney Spears in O Town was my first arena show, but I will say an honorable mention to the Wailers, which was like the first
Whoa, yeah.
um was like a folk festival, outdoor festival show I saw that really changed my life.
Were you a kid, or was that like a teen, we're gonna go
Um,
smoking pot, or
no,
what
I
was that
wasn't
like?
smoking pot yet. I was a kid, and I remember my sister, like, a random guy gave her a beer, and it just, like, scared me. It's like,
Yeah.
"What?" And I think she smoked a joint with a guy too, and I was definitely young, like, way too young to even
Yeah.
understand. But it really kind of primed me for that love of music outside and community. Like the Britney Spears one, that's more, mainstream inspired me to rock and roll. But the Wailers show is really what got me into more of the hippie, psychedelic, more grassroots Woodstock scene
Yeah.
of everything.
Was that something that you were trying to go to, or were you brought along by your family, or?
I was brought along by my family. I will say my sister followed Phish around in the 90s. My sister's
Nice.
in like 300 shows. She's a little bit older than me. So that part, yeah, I accidentally got brought in just because I was there. Um,
Yeah. You gotta have the older head sibling, you
the
know?
usual, right? That's like the quintessential story.
You gotta have it. That's how you get in.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I had my older I had my older brother Kellen, he saw hundreds of shows and everything. He
Yeah.
he showed me what was cool, like
Yeah.
Phish and the Wailers and T.I. I
No.
remember him showing me, like, the rapper T.I. when I was younger. I was like, "This is cool because he said so."
I think my TI would be Shaggy. I like Shaggy.
Nice. Nice. Also a classic.
Yeah, he's
Um,
great. So good.
was the Britney Spears show, was that the one that you were like, this one's for me, like,
Yeah.
all my friends are going type thing, or?
Yep, all my friends were going, I think we went with my mom. Horrible seats I think it was at the TD Garden. I was from Massachusetts. Uh,
Okay.
and I mean, that was just spectacular pop star. Like, I'm not even in that world really, but just like the production and the whole thing, and you get your t-shirt. It's so cool. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? It's like, it's massive.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were really pushing it forward in the early 2000s too, and so, like,
And
those like, going to see, like, an NSYNC show or something was, like,
yeah.
not like seeing other shows, or, like, know,
Is that
for
yeah,
a
is
kid,
that like that was like our time's Taylor Swift, right? Like, of course,
big
maybe
time.
slightly smaller level, but that was it.
Britney was the one.
Britney was
Man,
free Britney.
free Britney, for real. Do you have a worst show that you ever saw? Something that was just, like, uninspired, or, you know?
There was 2 that came to mind. Well, 2 and a half. I did get shut out of a night of the Baker's Dozen, so I think that was
Oh,
the worst show ever because I only got to see 12 out of the 13.
only.
Because I didn't get in. Come on, I'm not perfect. That's so messed up that I only saw
It
12 13 because I got
I
shut
You're so right. I'd rather see 0 than
right?
12.
Yeah. I'd rather see 11. I'd rather see
Yeah, right.
10. No, so in my mind, I think the worst show ever, it was really just it was a Dave Matthews Band show at Jones Beach, that got rained out after 8 songs. That
Oh.
was that was really uninspired show. Fine.
Yeah, the shuffling out of a show that gets rained out is the most depressing thing
Yeah.
you can be a part of. It's
Yeah.
tough.
And you're cold and your feet are wet. I remember I just got new Tevas and the puddles were like up to my calves. And thank God I had my Tevas on because they were waterproof. But I just like the shuffle and the freezing. So I want to say that's my worst show. But I tell one more story that like I don't even want to tell you which artist it was. But it was my first day working as a concert manager. I just got this amazing promotion. I was the stage manager of a music venue, and we had the artist have a mental breakdown on stage, stop playing after an hour. And this is my worst show. Like, there's no doubt about it. First day on the job, the artist gets off stage, refuses to play. I run to the backstage area. The band is screaming, "You are ruining our livelihoods!" Like, insane rock and roll. This is years ago. I'm like a young, like in her 20s girl. And they're like, "You got a refund. We got to do. People are waiting." Everyone's yelling at me. I'm just
Oh,
out of my mind. I think I'm witnessing the end of a career. Well, I will say this man came back and has performed since then, many years later. I had to, that night ended. I had to go on stage and speak into the microphone and tell everyone that the artist wasn't coming back and they had to leave and they weren't getting refunds.
you had to do it.
I had to do it on my first day.
Oh my God.
So that's my worst show. That is that's the worst show I've ever been to.
Oh God, going up to the mic and being like, "Yeah, doof,
Hey
doof. Hey
everyone.
everyone."
Thank you so much. I got a standing ovation, I will say.
Wow.
I'm the queen of spin. I was like, he really thanks you so much for being here. We just really appreciate your patience and your time. The show is over. Have a great night. And meanwhile, backstage, the door is locked. Like people are screaming. Like the band is rioting. Like
Oh my
actual
God.
pandemonium.
Wow. I
That's
cannot
the worst
believe Paul McCartney did that.
show.
That's crazy.
It was Phish. I'm just kidding.
It was Trey. It was Trey.
It was a great solo show.
Oh my fucking God. That is so brutal. So I have a part-time job where I work at a yoga studio sometimes,
Oh,
and
nice.
I work the front desk. And it's sometimes I I the teacher won't show up. And so I've got to walk in to a class of yogis and be like, "Hey, the class isn't happening." And I sweat and I shake and I get so nervous about that moment. And I end up like doing jokes because I'm nervous in there, and people are like, "All right, it's fine, stop." And but that's not a full concert of people.
Yeah,
It's
there was like the room was full. It was like 300 people. Yeah. Uh, I mean, it made me a better person. It definitely it made me better at my job, but it was really, really stressful and it was really bad. And it was just like I was being poetic about it. I was like, this is rock and roll. Like, if this is the life I want, like, there's going to be artist mental breakdowns. There's egos. There's like, this is the reality, I guess. I mean, I haven't seen it since. I've been in, some band fights, but yeah, it just really, really affected me and still affects me to this day. Even though, like I said, he's back. He's made his
yeah,
comeback. He's played shows at that venue, but years later.
and good for Paul McCartney, but that
He's Super Paul
is
McCartney, yeah.
yeah. But like you said, like there are probably people who work in this industry that have never had to do that, and they've worked in it for 20 years.
Yeah,
Like stop the show. You had to do it day one. You're
they were.
like, that's way to plow ahead.
Yeah, just I'm on a space, I'm on a rocket ship to success. So I had to, have some hardships nice and early on.
There is part of me that's like, I think this is a sign. I don't think let's try something else. But
Oh,
hell
no.
yeah, that is rock and roll. That's rock and roll.
Rock and
That's
roll.
so
It's a
sick.
sign that that's the industry.
Wow, incredible. But so do you have it is so difficult to pick a best show ever, and you've seen and worked at and played a billion shows at this point in your life. Um, do you have any honorable mentions before we bring up your best show ever that
I
you'd
do.
remiss?
My list. I made my list. Okay.
Wow.
I did. Hey, I'm prepared. I like to
Thank
stay.
incredible. Yes, thank you.
So, I mean, like let's just get it out of the way. Gamehenge is not my favorite, but it's an honorable mention.
It's a great night,
It was
but it's not the favorite.
no, no. I mean, once they refine it, once it's on Broadway, and once the bird doesn't malfunction, it'll be my favorite show. Once they finish the story, it'll be my favorite show.
Yeah, tell them. Say it.
Tell them,
Absolutely.
I sold the best night of my life. I cried. I had a great spot in the venue. I was the best night ever. But it's a pre-honorable mention.
Are you, and be honest, doing that for me because I wasn't there? Are you saying are you saying
No.
it wasn't that good?
I said it was amazing, but it wasn't.
Right, right.
Did you watch the video?
Oh yeah.
It was amazing.
I I watched it that night, and then I just recently brought myself to watch it again. And so,
It was amazing. Tila was the best part. I
yeah.
cried. I cried.
Just the full entrance of the multi-beast. Like I said, we'll probably never talk about this ever again on this podcast, every
Yeah.
single episode. We talk about it every single episode.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it had to have been crazy. And yeah, you had a great spot and you are a part of that. You're up there close. You're
Yeah,
doing
I
the
was, 5th row center. It was perfect.
and you get down up there.
Watch the videos. Fish
Find the
talk.
videos.
I actually stopped. I had to stop filming, having people film me dancing because everyone in the comments was like, "Why is there so much room?"
Oh, right. Yeah, of
I
course.
know it's a video. There's really not that much room.
Of course, the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Around the front area.
Yeah, we don't have to go into that either.
We absolutely don't. You can find that on Twitter. You can find that on Fantasy
On
Tour.
Facebook, yeah.
Believe it or
Uh,
not, that conversation has happened.
yeah, of course. I've even talked about it on podcasts. So
Sure.
we can move on.
We're
Uh,
good.
okay, honorable mention, number 1, it was at, the Blue Note. Marcus Miller, the bass player, was doing a residency, and it was a bass free-for-all. So it was Marcus Miller, Victor Wooten, Derek
Wow.
Hodge, and Mono Neon, all on stage.
Wow.
4 bass players on stage with, I think, a drummer, and maybe a keys player. And it was just a night of, like, bass celebration, just jams, and they would call up guests, and they would play bass, and they would slap bass, and they would pick bass, and they would bass, 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 and it was awesome.
Man, a celebration with a sick cast.
With a
Man,
sick
that's a good.
lineup. Yeah, so I mean, I think I have to mention that even if it was the most fun, even if I didn't have the biggest crew or the best spot, just watching music that's a celebration of the instrument that I love so much. Like, what can be better that by, I think, the greatest living bass players of our time right now.
Yeah, and to be like, you have to go watch the greats in whatever you do. Like, if you gotta go watch the best ever to do it because it's inspiring.
It's so
It's
insane.
it's it's the
Right,
best, yeah.
and maybe as artists, we get a little cynical, right? I think sometimes if maybe we're a little too harsh. I don't know if you get the same way about comedy, but
Oh,
I'm nitpicky, right? And I
yeah.
get an ego, and maybe I'm unenjoyable because I'm like, "Ooh, but the mix is messed up." Like, tone, like, ugh. We only played root notes that entire Grateful Dead cover show. Phil never plays the root notes. Like, I get that's a true story. I'm not gonna name that basis either.
Yeah, right.
Um, so yeah, watching the greats, I think, is just something really important and beautiful, and yeah, it has to be done, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, try to go see the best stand-ups there are and the best, sketch comedians there are and stuff, and, like, yeah, when I go to see stuff with my brother who doesn't,
Yeah.
he doesn't perform comedy, he's very funny, but he's not, like, in that space. He's just like, "You are so annoying to watch these shows with because 'cause you're, like, telling me why it's good, telling me why it's not so good, telling" I'm like he's like, "Just watch the show." I'm like, "Right,
I
right, right, right."
know. Yeah, my friends feel the same way about me.
Yeah.
I've learned to shut my mouth, and you know what? You don't want to ruin it for everyone, also, right? Like, not all the audience knows the ins and outs of the craft, and I think it's better that way. I
Oh,
don't think I
yeah.
don't think there'd be any fans of music or comedy or any art if everyone was doing the art, because everyone would just be nitpicking and thinking about themselves.
Exactly. And especially in music, like, no one is listening to it the same way you are. Even someone else with a critical ear like you is
Yeah,
listening to different things than you are. So it's not like this uniform opinion that you've come up with. Like, it's
it's
just
art.
yours.
Subjective. It's subjective art.
Yeah, exactly. But that had to be a cool celebration of bass.
That was amazing. Celebration of Bass. My second runner up. So, I mean, you got to tell me if this even counts as a show because it wasn't live, but it was live. So, you know how Talking Heads just re-released "Stop Making Sense" in IMAX.
Yeah.
Did you know that? So, huge deal. The premiere was at the Toronto Film Festival, where it was the first time that all the Talking Heads were getting together after 20 years.
Yeah.
And being the girl that I am with a lot of Canadian contacts, because I book tours in Canada, I got tickets to see them
Wow.
and see the first showing of Stop Making Sense in IMAX. Um, so yeah, that I got to see the Talking Heads reunite. I mean, they didn't perform. They did an interview with Spike Lee, after the showing. I saw them, walk in. They were at the show with us. Like Jerry Harrison was dancing right behind me and my friend. Like
Oh
we were
my.
last row, watching themselves play. Like Tina and Chris were like a couple rows down. David was kind of towards the front, and you were watching them watch them for the first time and be in the same room with each other for the first time. It was 20 years. And everyone was dancing and grooving, and it was really powerful.
Oh,
And Talking Heads are like one of my favorite bands. Like my big three, Talking Heads are right up there with Phish and the Dead. Like they are life changing to me, bass wise, because Tina Weymouth, the female bass player, pioneer, and just the groove and the lyrics, like really, really meaningful, beautiful night. And yeah, so happy to have been there. So does that count? I would.
that absolutely 1000% counts
That
at
counts.
100%.
It has to.
When else? I mean, like, when have you watched Bob watch The Dead? Like, when have
Yeah,
you watched, Trey watch Phish? Trey always says, I don't get to go to Phish shows. And like, you got to watch a Talking Head show with the Talking Heads in eye view, like in
yes,
view.
surround sound, view, amazing, like, and I've seen that movie a million times, one of the
Right.
greatest films of all time, and know every word, and everyone in the audience knew every word, and it was really powerful and really, really special. And I just feel so lucky to have been there, because it was also like it was in like a really crappy movie theater in Toronto. The Toronto Film Festival is huge, and it's a citywide thing. And so it was in like a place where you'd like get your popcorn and watch whatever X-Men. It was in that kind of movie theater in the middle of
Yeah.
the day, and then everyone's just raging, and the Talking Heads are there.
Yeah. And you're like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, what is this? Well, like, and we're in Canada, why are we here? But it was life changing, and it was so special. And I just feel so lucky to have been one of the 300 people in that room.
Yeah, that's so cool. And like, you've seen a band receive an applause while they're on stage, but they're in the audience, vulnerable with no instruments, just looking around
Yeah.
like, pretty cool, like that had to be an amazing.
Yeah, I got really sentimental, right? Let's tie it back to my artistic, mental breakdown I'm having right now. But like I got
Please.
sentimental thinking about, like, imagine in 40 years from now, you're sitting in a theater watching one of like your greatest live performance achievements. And there's people that you don't know, and younger people and older people watching it with you. And I wonder what's going through your head, right? Like, are you nitpicking yourself? Is Jerry sitting there being like, "Oh, I really missed that change," or
Yeah.
or do you celebrate it and let it go, and enjoy it? And then all the other musicians, and some of them have passed away, and some of them are still with you. Of just that beautiful nostalgia, but not nostalgia in like a stale way, just in a really beautiful, inspiring way for the future.
Yeah, especially because it's still so alive for people. People are still so attached to that band and that movie and that music, and so, like, there's gotta be a little bit of a feeling of like, "Man, this isn't even mine it's not even my memory anymore." Like, it's just all
Yeah,
of these other 295 people that are in the room, their memory so sick that they are allowing me to be here to watch it with them. Like, that's how Mike will describe a Phish show. He's like, "Feels like
yeah,
there's a party going on, and, like, we're lucky to get to play the party,"
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
it's almost not even theirs anymore, and
It's bigger than
so
them. Yeah, they say that all the time.
yeah,
Really cool.
pretty cool. Wow, that is yeah, that absolutely counts as a show for sure.
So
Um,
special, so sick. The best. Ugh,
good band,
good
good
band. Good
band,
good great band. One of the
great
best.
band.
Great
Um,
best.
Speaking of best, do you have a best show ever?
I do, and it is Fish. It is
Yes.
a Fish show, obviously.
Thank thank
Obviously.
God.
Yeah, you're like, she has a Fish TikTok account, and she hasn't even talked about Fish once. She likes all this other stupid.
Why why are we talking about Victor Wooten right now? No, just
Why aren't we talking about Mike Gordon? Like, come on, we
oh
will.
my God.
Sorry to disappoint. Sorry to make you
No.
wait. So I gotta say, my favorite Fish show is also a holiday show. It was Halloween 2014, which was
Cool.
thrilling, chilling. Uh,
Yeah.
Halloween show was still forever and always will be my number one favorite show of all time.
Amazing. What and
of all time.
why might that be?
Oh my goodness. I mean, there's just so many things leading up to it and to the fact of it that it just really aligned perfectly. I mean, Vegas was my first Phish show in Vegas. It wasn't my first Halloween. I just gone through a lot of bad stuff. I called it my life Mageddon. A lot of bad stuff happened to me.
I love it.
I was coming out on the other side, and we were in Vegas, and I mean, I'm just a spooky girl. Let's be real. I love Halloween. I love witchcraft, and I love ghosts and ghouls and stuff like that. And I got it. It's kind of funny and poetic about it. I was in the last row of the venue. Like you know me as Rail Rider Sarah, but that didn't start probably until 2018. So from 2010 until 2018, I was seeing Phish like like everyone else in the back. So I was in the last row. I was coming off a knee surgery, so it was the first time I could stand up and dance at a Phish show in like a year. I was with my boyfriend at the time, some friends, and we had listened. We were in the hotel room when people got into the venue and announced what the album was, right? They put on the playbill. And we had already listened to the album in the hotel room, and we had no idea. Like, what is this? We get there, last row of the venue, and musically mind was just blown. I mean, it's self-explanatory, the fact that, I mean, that might have been the most creative, amazing way to cover an album of all time, in my opinion. Right? Taking sound effects and creating groovy, funky instrumentals over them that really invoke that feeling of that story. It just it's the best. It's the best. It's so good. And it's spooky. And there was dancers in the haunted house, and they were all facing each other, right? Phish will always say we play best when we're in a room, a really tight room close to each other. Like they were next to each other. They were feeding off each other, and you can hear it. You can hear it in the songs. And
And
it's
with what they pull off, especially by 2014 at this point, that like they could really do anything and they still, I mean, the way that they, like you said, pull in samples, pull in sounds, create grooves about it, like that is not like on the table in your mind. You're
no.
like, this is gonna be a great show. They're gonna play some cool covers. Like you never know what's gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
they,
and the year before was Wingsuit, which I was also at.
yeah.
It was right as an all new album, very mixed reviews. Let's be real. Some people hated
Hmm.
it. I had an okay show. I didn't have the best show. Well, it wasn't my
Okay.
worst. It wasn't my best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really anything was on the table. You could already tell that Phish was going to start doing different things on Halloween. I remember one of the gravestones right on the stage. Some of the gravestones had like poster nutbag, Esther, and one of them says Phish's Halloween tradition. So they were kind of celebrating the fact that they broke this tradition, which, I mean, it's a beautiful one, right? Covering an
Yeah.
album. They covered the Talking Heads. It totally changed their jamming style. But this celebration of breaking that tradition in such a creative way, which I think then kind of opened the doors to Cosmo Vox, right? And like
Yeah.
this was the beginning of that like creative spin on Halloween and where they're composing and grooving in new ways. And it's legendary.
And what a way to release new music. I mean, what a way to like introduce all of this stuff that you've been working on to
Yeah.
people. This
And
massive
they should do
pageantry.
more of it. Like
Yeah.
waiting for the very long fuse to come back. Where's it been? I thought Shipwreck was great. I mean, they play the dogs. Like, I wish they played your. I don't even think they played any over this New Year's run. They didn't play any Thrilling Chilling, I don't think.
I got a Your Pet Cat with my ex-girlfriend, and I think that might have been her final straw with me. She
Yeah.
she was like, "What is happening in the show?" I'm like, "This is a great opener, just so you know. This is awesome." She's like, "Cool, I'm gonna hang out in the lobby. This is awful."
That's so good. Oh,
So
so good.
good.
It's so good. I love it. Cat noises.
And dog noises. Yeah, it's great. Do them all. But yeah, I'm sure there are still a lot of Phish fans, that are still would love to hear them, come out and do the fucking White Album or whatever. And that is cool. That's a very,
I'd
very cool thing.
I'd
But
love
like
to.
as a creator, it's like, man, like what an opportunity that they take to introduce what they've been working on and what they're excited about to people in the biggest possible way. I think that's like the coolest. And like you for me, that I didn't get to go to Cosmo Fox, but when friends came back from that, I was like supremely jealous because of the presentation of that and like the
Yeah.
new music and all that stuff. And I was like, "Fuck!" Like Halloween is a magical
It's
fish
magic.
run that
I
I
mean,
haven't been a part of.
Fish in Vegas is next level, right? Because you get
Yeah,
on the show and you just have Candyland of hangs and everyone's around, no one's going anywhere. Usually there's an after show. I've been to a couple after shows in Vegas too. But yeah, it's a really beautiful, magical place to see Fish. I mean, I hope I'll end up at the Sphere. Probably will, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's really life changing show. And I even before this podcast, it's always and will be the number one show that I bring up. It's just
I love that. And you've seen so many shows since then, so that means it's got to be, you know,
I've seen
cream of
so
the
many
crop.
since then. Yeah, and I mean they all have their moments, right? I'm a different person. That's almost what are 10 years ago almost.
Do you feel like that Life Mageddon is a huge part of it? Like, it's obviously the thrilling, chilling stuff is great, but
I think it is. I think it is. I think that primes you too, right? Like going back to the fact that music is subjective, you walk out of a show and yeah, depending on your headspace, that was the best show or your worst show, right? Even in this run, even if like everyone has a different night, not because they're musically better than any other ones, just that's where you were.
yeah.
So the Life Mageddon had almost everything to do with it, probably, and the
Totally.
music.
And the music was great. And the music was
It was
great.
great, it was legendary, and we go down in Phish history, but really it's about me.
good, good job, Fish. We're talking about Sarah right now, so
Yeah,
this isn't
but
really
it
about Fish.
definitely does. Yeah, Phish was there for me through my Life Mageddon, like, the one part I talked about, like, my tearing my ACL, I went to 7 Phish shows in a wheelchair that the summer before,
Oh my
um,
god.
which is crazy. I mean, really, people were really nice to me, and I went to what was that? It was like Mansfield, 3 nights of SPAC, and 3 nights of Randall's Island in a wheelchair because I had just gotten surgery.
Hey, take a seat. Enjoy the Fish show. You know,
No,
no one's ever gonna make fun of that guy for sitting. Go ahead and sit.
and I had some special seats. We got ADA people. I got some free beer one night.
Yeah,
People were offering me free other goodies. I'm like, I'm okay, but thank you.
you've made up for it in getting down in future shows. You
Yes, of
take a
course.
seat.
But yeah, but that Halloween run was the first run I could stand again, right? Because it was right after. So that meant a lot to me.
Was it after that you're like, we're doing Halloween every year? Or
No,
like I
I
have
missed
to?
Cosplot Vox also, and I missed Bowie. No,
Man,
yeah. I mean, maybe because of where I live, I'm a New Year's Eve girl, right? It's in
sure.
my city. I don't have to worry about hotels, anything. People come to my
Yeah.
city, so Halloween is still a treat for me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean that I was also just like when they come around guy, but I was from Wisconsin, so that wasn't enough at some point because it
Yeah,
was
that's
like to an Alpine Valley every 3 years. It's not good.
but it's also hard, I think, for you on the West Coast, right? Like, as
Yeah.
much as I love LA and I might end up there one day, it's definitely in the cards. I think you have little bit different access to Fish and to jam bands in general. How's the scene over there?
It's weird and sparse, you know? It's like there's not
Yeah.
a lot. It's easy to get tickets. I'll say that, you know, like Fish played the Hollywood Bowl and you could get tickets
Well,
for
yeah,
$20 like in an easy like good
yeah,
section and so and that's not the case almost anywhere else in the country. Like you can't,
no way.
see Fish for like under $80, like,
Yeah,
whatever, you know.
totally.
And so yeah, there's not as many people. And then like when you're going to shows, it feels like there's a jam guy who's brought 4 friends who don't do this. And like
Oh, it's
there's
interesting.
a lot of people like, getting into it in the crowd, which is a cool, like, that's also a cool experience to like watch people be like, what is this? And like that kind
Yeah.
of a thing. But it's a little different than like that that unadulterated love they get on the East Coast. Like it's just like a little. I feel like they've got to work a little harder. Every jam band, like Goose didn't sell out the Greek Theater. Dogs in a Pile plays bigger shows on the East Coast, and they played like a very small bar out here. It for the person who's interested in jam bands, it makes it fun because you're seeing them in smaller venues. You're able to get tickets day of if you forgot, like all that kind of stuff.
So
But
interesting.
yeah, it is a little different. Um,
I think about it all the time. I mean, LA is the place to go, right? New York and LA are the places to go for music.
yeah,
And do I want to make it my life goal to grow the jam band scene in LA? Maybe.
it's there's good people out here that are going to everything too, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like it's a smaller community, so you run into all the same people at all these shows. But yeah, it's not that fully fleshed out New York, or just general East Coast thing. Even when you go see them in like South Carolina or
Yeah.
anywhere on the east side of the country, it's like a bigger event, and there's more people there. There's more people getting shut out. The tickets are a little bit higher, but you know,
Yeah.
um, still had a blast at these West Coast shows. I mean, you did just Berkeley, or did you
So,
do
yeah,
Hollywood Bowl too?
I just did Berkeley because my first Phish show was at Berkeley in 2010. So
Wow, cool.
full circle moment. Yeah, really, really cool to be back. That venue is so cool.
It's
It's
the coolest.
it's awesome. The stage, the bowl, GA situation. It was magical. So yeah, I only flew out for those three.
Not a bad three to miss. That was like the coolest. That opening night show quickly ran the ranks of my top shows too.
The
Like,
teaser one.
yeah, the like 46-minute tweezer. That was like really weird. And Mike was like playing with that like theremin thing.
Oh
So cool. I was like, this is improv right now.
yeah. I love that. Oh, that was so fun. Oh, I do remember that. He told people on his hotline, I think, what it was, and I totally forgot.
It's like there's like two other made in the whole world, and Mike's got one. And he was like kind of
Mike.
trying and failing with it that night, and like letting
I
the rods
remember
kind of
that
fall.
it was like this thing, right? It was like going
Yeah.
back and forth. Oh, what was that? So real. So weird. It
I
was so good though. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. And it was like kind of chilly out, and it was like,
It was
you know,
cold.
you're like bundling up, and then like, slowly boogieing off all your sweatshirts that you have on, and also, yeah, to see them that close. I haven't got to see them that close. And so
Really?
being down on the, near the rail, and like, my brother was like really nervous. He's like, all right, if we're down here, dude, we gotta like get down. These people like fucking dance, okay? Like we can't like there's no like pencil necking, like there's no like you can't stand
Yeah.
still down here. I'm like, I know. I follow Sarah. I've seen the videos. I know what to fucking do.
How'd you do? How'd
I've
you
got
do?
moves. I do the I did great. It was
Yeah.
awesome. That was
Yeah. The
awesome. Yeah.
energy, say what you will, but the energy down by the front is unmatched.
Yeah,
On
people are just yeah, there's a lot of abandon down there. I think that you've if you've never been close at any concert, whether it's Fish or
oh, yeah,
not,
not exclusive to Fish.
yeah, you feel like if you're down there, you're just like locked in on the guy. But I mean, people are out of their heads down there. Like people are truly dancing and like spinning and like in the show in a way that sometimes when you're in stands, people are able to talk and converse and
Yeah.
not really be locked in. And so it felt like everyone down there was very locked in, especially for that. That's really the only time I've ever done it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, I was like, wow, we gotta we gotta dance, dude. We're gonna stick out like
You gotta
sore, still
dance.
thumbs.
Yeah. But and yeah, yeah, I love it. We call it like being in the band's living room, right?
Yeah,
That like semicircle. The first time I ever got down to the front was 2018. What show is it? San Francisco. Um,
cool.
what's that? Bill Graham. That's a
Yeah,
place. Yeah, and I remember getting my life changed, like because in my past life I used to be a professional dancer. Actually, my degrees in dance.
I had no idea.
Past life, yeah.
There
So
you go.
so I get down there and all of a sudden these people are just dancing and being so free, and I kind of made a mental note. I was like, oh, I need to be here. I need to be here with this beautiful pink-haired dancing fairy. This is amazing. I'm never
Yeah,
leaving.
right. Right, right. Um, yeah, I mean, very cool experience out here in California, seeing them, being in the living room, getting in
Being
the living room.
yeah, being like yeah, the living room's a good place to be.
Sarah, this has been so sick to have you on, and talk about shows. Do you have shows of your own coming up, that you'd like to plug, or do you have any shows that you're seeing coming up that you're stoked about?
Ooh. When's this airing? I guess some of this is time sensitive.
This is like we're like shooting for like early March for the first episode, so it'll be like March and April.
Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna plug the fact that I'm in a new original band, which I'm so excited about. Everyone should go follow Boojum.
That's
Uh,
right.
Boojum, Boojum Band. Started with these awesome guys. Think about it as I like to think about it as we're just, doing Gamehenge our own way. These guys have we have a big theatrical background, and we're putting on like long thematic jam band story epic evening length performances plus like epic jams. So follow Boojum. I'm super
Wow,
excited.
that's sick.
I'm so excited about it. Yeah, right now we're super focused on like Alice in Wonderland material. We just did an Alice in Wonderland show at Brooklyn Bowl with lights and dancers and projections and heady grooves. Yeah, I'm over the moon about it. We'll have an EP coming out in March, April too, so everyone will have to listen to that then. What else am I plugging? Yeah, just like if you're in New York, come see me play Grateful Dead and Phish music. I'm in my Phish cover band Seep always plays around. I've been playing a lot of Dead Country Tuesdays, put on by CEG, where we just play dead tunes. I have a bunch of those coming up, but that might be a little too late for the episode. And yeah, I'm just super excited. Music is I'm just super excited for everything that's coming. I feel really inspired.
Yeah, what
Especially
I mean,
stuff like writing original music has just been life changing.
I bet. And putting some pageantry behind it and some production value behind it is so cool too. That's such a cool project.
I love
And also, there are some people who listen to this podcast who like Fish and Dead music. So if you guys listen to
yeah.
Fish and Dead music, go ahead and go ahead and see Sarah at any of the venues that she's performing at with any of her bands. That'd be sick. Do you have any shows coming up that you're? What's the next one on the that you're seeing
That I'm
on the
seeing.
dock?
So actually our friend Mike Gordon's about to be in town next week.
Cool.
He's
Heard of
doing
them?
he's doing a show with Joe Russo, forget, I think Robert
Yeah.
Walter and one other person. This is going to be a blast at the Salt Room. So it's going to be like a tiny 250 cap room. They're doing 2 shows, totally sold out. It's going to be really, really great. Talk about being
Yeah,
in
and
the
I don't.
right.
That's the living room. Yeah, if you're in a venue like that, that's the living room.
That's the living room. So we're about to be in Mike Gordon's living room. And then, I mean, the Sphere's coming up. I'll probably be there, I think.
You'll be there. You'll be there. I'll see you there.
I never make plans that far ahead. It's funny. Like everyone asks me every year, like, "Oh, what summer shows you going to?" Like, dude, I don't know. I usually say, most, not all, some, most, not all, some,
Yeah.
some, not all, but most. I think is what
Right.
I usually answer.
Well, I hopefully will see you again at some, not most, not all, but most of these
Yeah,
of these shows
some,
this summer.
not all, but most.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was a conversation with Sarah. What a what an awesome combo with her. I mean, to play music, to be a fan of music, to work in the music industry, she has got a pretty full, well-rounded view of what it's like to go after this music thing. Just talking to her about wanting it so bad, and being in the middle of really working hard to try to get yourself seen and get yourself better and get yourself out there as an artist. It's super, super relatable for me, for folks who are making stuff and, trying to get things out there. I'm sure it's relatable to you too. You just want it. You just want to do well. You want to do a good job. You want to be proud of what you do, and you want people to be stoked on it. And it's a good combo. It really is. And then also, just talking about going to Phish shows when you're not able to dance, or you're in a you know brace or a wheelchair or something like that, that's dedication. It's true dedication. Um, if you're still getting out to Phish shows while you're injured. So anyone who wants to check Sarah on her fandom, I would say fucking bring it. Let's hear about the time that you were at a show in a cast. I'm sure that's like literally half of you. I got to be honest. I'm sure it's a ton of you. Um, got a bunch of true fans out here. Guys, thanks so much for listening to this episode. We got another episode out right now with Sarah's friend, Roy Donk. That's all of our friend, Roy Donk. Roy is if you've gotten a slice of baklava after a Phish show right on the lot, right, right at the gate, right as you've left, that's Roy or one of Roy's people. And we talk about the beginnings of his baklava journey and selling things at Phish to get around. And he's got some amazing Phish stories. So definitely check those out. We've got bonus clips right now up on the Patreon. Go ahead and check that out. We just want to have a little bit more for you on the Patreon. So if you pay $4 a month, you get access to bonus clips. You also get access to these episodes a day early on Mondays. So keep that in mind. And until next time, guys, thanks so much and have a great show.